We'll call the regular meeting of the Huron City Commission to order. It is Monday, May 4th, 2020, at 5:30 p.m. Could we have a roll call, please?
Smith.
Here.
Clute.
Here.
Harrington.
Here.
Robish.
Present.
Mayor Albert.
Here. Let's stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. We will move to item 2 on our agenda this evening. Public forum, and public comments may be sent during the live meeting broadcast on the city's YouTube channel. The link is listed on the city's website at www.huronsd.com/city-government. In order to use the YouTube chat feature, please create an account with YouTube and Gmail. And there's no cost for that, so but you need to do that to be able to message us, and we can acknowledge your message on public forum. We'll wait a little bit to see if you have anything to send in on public forum. And Commissioner Robish, I know you have something you'd like to say.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say thank you. Last night we had a house fire in town here, and I want to thank the fire department for their fast response. This is what those guys trained for. They did a great job. There was considerable damage. I don't have any details, and I wouldn't give them if I could, but I'm just saying they did a good job. This is what they trained for, and then when they're in the line of duty, that's what happens. And also, thank you to the Cavor Fire Department. They were very, very quick to respond and very needed and necessary help. So thank you to everyone there that was involved.
Thank you, and we are very proud of our fire departments and our mutual aid partners too. So I know we kind of take them for granted sometimes. We don't have a lot of fires, which is a good thing.
It's a good thing.
But they do respond when needed.
Right.
Anything else at public forum? Any messages yet, Shada?
No messages yet. There are 18 people watching though.
Okay, we'll wait a couple of minutes. Is there anything else for public forum anyone have?
You want to introduce Nathan?
Sure, we have a new employee here tonight. It's our new HR, I guess, I don't know the correct title.
HR manager.
HR manager, Nathan Hofer, and he's started today. He's gonna take over for Pat Smith, who's retiring soon, and she'll be able to work with him for a week or two here. And so we welcome Nathan to the Huron City family.
I think the camera's facing the wrong way. I have a face for radio anyway.
Most of you probably know Nathan. He's a local Huron boy, and we're glad to have him aboard here. Anything else? Nothing, Shauna, yet? Well, if you have something that you would like to have us hear during the meeting, please continue, or please send the message, and we'll try to get you on, or at least read it on air. And we will, yes.
Okay, we do have a message from Jamie Weed. Her question is asking, are you addressing reopening of businesses tonight at this meeting?
We will have an executive session this evening, and that is the purpose of the executive session, to talk about our ordinance that and resolution that affects how we do business here in Huron. So the answer is yes, we will be discussing it. Okay. Well, if you have anything you'd like to add or send in to us, please continue to do that. We will be available, I suppose, till the end of the, until we adjourn. We'll move on now to approval of the agenda. Do I have any changes to the agenda or a motion? Commissioner Clute?
Well, you already addressed it, Mayor, but I think we should make sure the record's clear that we are going to talk about the emergency ordinance number 2207 and the emergency resolution number 2020-07. And so I would move that we amend the agenda as written to include discussion of rescission and/or revision of that ordinance and that resolution, and then we would put that after the executive session.
What was the number of the resolution again?
The resolution is 2020-07.
Okay. Any other changes or to the agenda or a motion?
I'll move to approve the agenda with those changes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor will say aye, opposed say no, and we'll call the roll.
Smith.
Aye.
Clute.
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Albert.
Aye. Aren't
Used
used
to
to
having
having them
my
sitting here, are you?
No.
Okay, we will move on to consent agenda. Matters appearing on the consent agenda are expected to be non-controversial and will be acted upon by the commission at one time without discussion, unless a member of the commission requests an opportunity to address any given item. Items removed from the consent agenda will be discussed at the beginning of the formal items. Tonight's consent agenda starts with 4.1, minutes of April 27th, 2020. 4.2, fuel quotes for city departments. 4.3, annual appointments to city boards and committees. 4.4, designating the official newspaper for the city of Huron. 4.5, list of official depositories for the city of Huron. 4.6, special event on sale alcoholic beverage license filed by the South Dakota State Fair for designated areas September 2nd through the 7th during the South Dakota State Fair. 4.7, set May 18, 2020 as a public hearing date to consider malt and South Dakota farm wine licenses for the 2020-2021 licensing period. 4.8, proclamation for National Nurses Week, May 4th through the 8th, 2020. 4.9, proclamation National Hospital Week, May 10th through the 16th, 2020. And 4.10, personnel items. 1, hiring a police officer. 2, promotion of Adeline Ardella Reno from account clerk to account supervisor in the finance office, and to post and advertise for an account clerk position. 3, regular status for Tyler Pearson, solid waste 2, for successful completion of his probationary period. Item 4, Colby Hoff, police officer, has completed 1,040 hours, making him eligible for supplemental benefits. 5, accept the resignation from Zach Heinem, Street Department. And 6, hiring for a street crew position. 4.11, payment of the bills. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We did a roll call vote. All those in favor will say aye, opposed nay. We'll call the roll.
Smith.
Aye.
Clute.
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Howard.
Aye. Move to item 5, bid/quote items. 5.1, consider specifications, authorize addendums as deemed necessary by the city engineer, and set the opening for 2 p.m., May 18, for 2020-18Q bituminous road oil quote. And Assistant Engineer Dennis Bennett.
Thank you, still serving mayor. The road oil, we normally buy off Beetle County bid, but this year I talked to the suppliers, and with oil prices fluctuating, they thought we could get a better price if we bid it right now than when Beetle County did. So we're gonna recommend go out to bid for, are looking for approval to go out to bid for MC 3000 road oil.
Okay, do I have a motion to go to bids for the oil?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor will say aye, and opposed nay, will call the roll.
Smith.
Aye.
Clute.
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Howard.
Aye. Move to 5.2, consider specifications, authorize addendums as deemed necessary by the city engineer, and set the opening for 2 p.m., May 18, for 2020-19Q propane fuel supply quotes. And again, Assistant Bennett.
Thank you, Mayor. This is same thing for propane. We've been talking to CHS, who we have a contract with. And they're afraid there's gonna be a spike later this fall, so I think right now would be a good time to bid on propane. So asking for approval to go out to bid for propane.
Okay, do I have a motion to go to bids for our propane supply?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor will say aye, opposed nay, and we'll call the roll.
Smith.
Aye.
Clute.
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Howard.
Aye. We will now move down to department items. And 8.1, consideration of appointing appointed officers. I don't have my list with me, but,
One less.
yeah, yes. What?
Brian's got one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I wasn't quick enough there.
I should have had it here with me. Appointment of the officers, airport manager will be Larry Cooper. Building inspector, Christopher Newman. Finance director, the finance director, Paul Ed Carey. Deputy finance director, Janet Bockerney. Fire chief, Ron Hines. Volunteer deputy chief, Josh Sterrett. Volunteer first assistant chief, Chad Crandall. And volunteer second assistant chief is Troy Marion. Golf course superintendent, Jesse Hayek. Library director, Shirley Apley. Park and Rec director, LaRon Clock. Planning director, Barry Cranston. Police chief, Kevin Van Diepen. Solid waste superintendent, Dale Fortin. Street superintendent, Philip McCaskill. And water sewer superintendent, Vince Jules. Those are our appointments for office. We will move, I guess we need a motion on that.
To appoint.
A motion to agree with the appointments for our officers.
Motion to approve the appointment of the officers for 2020.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor will say aye, opposed nay, and we'll call the roll.
Smith.
Aye.
Clute.
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Howard.
Aye. We'll move to item 8.2. Consider authorizing the police department to apply to the U.S. Department of Justice for the Ballistic Vest Partnership / Body Armor Safety Initiative Grant Program and authorize the police chief to sign all related documents. And Police Chief Van Diepen.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the same grant that we put in for every year. The officers need to wear their body armor. We have a mandatory wear policy. This grant will just reimburse the city 50% of the cost for the body armor, and it expires every 5 years, so we have to buy new body armor. I think we're putting in for the money for 4 vests this year. A lot less we did last year, but at $570, half of that is better than us having to pay the whole bill.
Okay, do I have a motion to allow the chief to apply for the grant?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor will say aye, opposed nay, and we'll call the roll.
Smith.
Aye.
Clute.
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Albert.
Aye. We'll move to 8.3. Consider authorizing the planning director to apply for a historic preservation grant and authorize the mayor to sign all related documents. And City Planner Cranston?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is just the annual grant that we apply for. This allows us to do things like the normal functions from the historical preservation side. Last year we had some functions. We applied for about 6,200 last year. We're applying for about 5,600 this year. It's a little up in the air if we'll be spending all of the grant money from this last year, because part of the program there was a couple of conferences that we didn't go to, and because they were canceled because of the virus. Some of that will carry forward in that we won't know, for example, the Pass Forward Convention in Miami, that was the national convention. We're not sure that will happen. That's in August typically. So some of those things may ebb and flow a little bit, but right now we're anticipating a grant application of $5,636. There'd be a match that includes in-kind for staff time and things like that, totaling about a little over $9,000, bringing the total grant with the match to about $15,000.
Okay, is this from the state historical?
This is through the state historical preservation office.
Do I have a motion on the planner's request for applying for a grant?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval of applying for the historic preservation grant will say aye. Opposed, nay, and we'll call a roll.
Smith.
Aye.
Clute.
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Albert.
Aye. We'll move down to item number 10.
Actually,
Pardon,
excuse me,
yes,
Mr.
do we
Mayor.
have some,
we do have a couple more comments.
okay?
From the YouTube channel. Both of them are from Dan Weed. I'll read the first one, and give you a chance to respond to that. Dan Weed asks, is there a timeline being addressed, and if so, will it be an emergency lift, or will there be another reading in 5 days?
Commissioner, we will be discussing both of those things. If it's an ordinance revision, it will take a second reading. If it's a resolution, it will not take a second reading. If if the ordinance is just deleted or
Repealed.
repealed, it would not take a second reading. So I don't have a yes or no, it's a both.
Okay, his second question, if the reopening of businesses is discussed in executive session, when and how will businesses be notified of conclusion and the next steps to take?
We will discuss any changes in executive session. If we vote on a change, it will be done in open session. We will come out of executive session and we will vote in open session tonight, after the executive session.
That's it so far.
Okay, that's all the questions this evening? Okay, we are down to executive session to discuss ordinance 2207 and resolution 2020-07.